Hello, welcome to another Healing Tree Live. If you are here and if you have any problem with the volume, just let me know. So, thank you for joining. I try to, as if you have been watching me this past, I don't know, over a year, I try to jump on nowadays once a month and talk about something that I feel is relevant, important. It may be something that oftentimes it's something that is close to me. And sometimes it's something I'm hearing in my students and clients in their sharing. And all of it is to support the emotional journey and the emotional healing journey, emotional integration journey, our journey to a deeper feeling of wellness. So that is my interest, and that's what I'm talking about. And today's topic is kind of a book commentary. I did one maybe a few months ago, another book. This book is a little bit different because it is very near and dear to my heart, and I have been on a deep journey with it. So let me show you. Today I'm talking about this book, The Presence Process, A Journey into Present Moment Awareness by Michael Brown. You can see how mangled this book is. And also I wanted to show you how marked, oh wait, maybe this is a better way. Like every single page. So let me explain. I have started reading this book last September of 2025, and it is now August of 2026. I just finished it last month. So it's close to 1 year that I have been reading this book and following the process, the presence process. It's a 10-week process, and I'm going to try to share with you as best as I can, but I still find myself like challenged for words because the presence process is a process of integration, emotional integration. In fact, the more I practiced it, the more I realized that this is what I was looking for, longing for. This is what I'm most interested in. Resonates most with the work that I've been doing and that I've been sharing and teaching for a very long time. But I wanted to do it for myself because I am in a period of my life where, even though I've done a lot of inner work. Good morning, Amy. Welcome. So glad to see you. Your little face that's popping up in the circle. Even though I've been on an inner journey for a very long time, I'm at a time of my life where I feel that I very much want to kind of look more microscopically at parts. I mean, to use the language of the presence process, parts of myself that are still yet unintegrated. And integration is a lifelong work. So I'm not saying that I'm like, oh, I got to look at these parts and, then I'll be done. It's not really like that. It was more a feeling of there's something I'm not seeing clearly within myself. And I see the signs. I see the signs in my life, the way I perhaps respond in certain situations in my relationship, the way I see myself having even a reaction. And I'm like, there's something I not seeing clearly. And this moment of life feels like I want to open the door and look as best as I can at that which I have not been able to see clearly, or that which has been a blind spot for me, even with all of the work that I've been doing. And this is kind of exciting for me. I felt somehow ready and eager for that. So I just happened to hear somebody talk about the presence process. I was in a group Zoom and somebody was like giving just an offhanded share, saying to the group leader, like, oh, you had introduced this book like a few months back and I read it and it's been really powerful for me. And it just clicked. I was like, the presence process, journey into present moment awareness. That's what I want. And that actually became my theme of this year, present, being present. And I really wanted to take the journey. So I did the 10-week process, and he recommends in the book that you can wait, I don't know, like 3, but then he also says kind of as long as you want. Anyway, for me, I did the 10-week process, waited about, I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks, did it again. And I think after another 4 or 5, 6 max weeks, I did it again. So he recommends repeating it 3 times. I just wanted to follow the instruction because I was so into it from the first word. And I've heard many people, not many, I've heard others share about the presence process, and the sharings have been so various. I heard one person say, like, she was just, she started it and she was like in a state of bliss, like in a new state of bliss, just like living in that state. I thought, wow, but that was not my experience. I've heard some others share about it, saying like, oh, it's kind of good for beginners, like learning about how to meditate. That was also not my experience. For me, it was very, very deep, kind of advanced, but I think it's because that's where I wanted to go with it. So that's where it took me. I've heard others say that the book doesn't resonate, doesn't land, the language that he uses. He does use he has a unique way of talking, Michael Brown. I've heard people say like it didn't click, like it wasn't like landing for them. Okay, I totally understand that too. It was also not my experience. So I think there's so many different experiences that people can have with this one book and this one process. Hi, Claudia. Welcome. Thanks for listening in. Jennifer, hi. Welcome. Yes. Yes, I know you're a fellow presence process practitioner, experiencer. So I love that too. I'm kind of very interested to chat with people who have experienced it so for me, it was a very profound, very deep. And also, he keeps emphasizing in the book how this is the work that you only can do for yourself. It's like about self-facilitation. So he never turned it into like a course, and he never created like a certification program for people to facilitate others, because he keeps saying this emotional integration work is what you only can do for yourself, which is interesting for me because I'm, as you know, someone who shares and guides others in that process. So it was just so interesting for me, but I took it really sincerely to heart. Like, okay, this is a thing to self-facilitate. I've had people ask me like, oh, can you just show me how to do it? And I'm like, no, I can't. It's a whole experience. So if you're listening to this and if anything here lands, you're welcome to check out the book anytime. You're welcome to check out the process. I'm also not here saying like, you have to do this, like you should, you must. I'm not saying that. Everyone has their own journey. I'm just here to share that this has been like a really, really important and big part of my journey. And what I really feel now, almost 1 year later, is like it's given me tools. I already had tools, but like more specific tool set for that which I was not able to see. So the tools I was using before were good for the practice that I was doing on myself. And I came a long way. And then I needed something more microscopic to get like under the furniture, of myself, of my heart. So I really felt like this provided that for me. It's a lot about emotional integration, not so much the parts work that I often share in my Art of Self Acceptance class or in my private sessions. But he is talking a little bit about these unintegrated child parts. And those are the parts that are blocking us from being present. So my goal was like, I want to do this process because I want to be more present. But what I learned as I went through the process is like, really, I got to see more and more clearly the parts that block me from being present and why they block me. And the biggest reason is the way I respond to them. So this is so resonant for me because this is what I want to like share to people. And when I use the phrase healing your relationship with yourself, which is the free kind of two-part experience that I have, that's actually it's definitely in the description below for anybody who's interested. That's my interest. Transforming our relationship with ourselves. But that's also broad, right? So getting even more specific, like, well, what does that look like? For me, the presence process was huge in helping me make a really big shift from reaction to those feelings, thoughts, emotions, unintegrated charges, from reaction to a more conscious response, which is what I have been seeking and longing to do anyway and working on doing. But I didn't realize how much I was still in reaction about so often, because I consider myself a sensitive person. You may as well, if you're listening. I know a lot of people in the Healing Tree community consider themselves to be very sensitive. So I feel everything. And then I feel the discomfort very easily, which is like a highly sensitive. I feel all the pain inside of me and outside of me in the world. And then the more I react to that discomfort, the more I suffer. So I needed to see that more clearly about myself. There was a day that I was like, I think that I react 24 hours a day, maybe. That was a really good awakening. I'm really open at this moment of my journey to like see these things, reveal, admit to myself, like, oh, wow, yeah. And so it took a lot of effort actually to make a shift in that. And part of the effort came in what he talks about. He talks about the word containment, containing. And then he talks a lot about feeling unconditionally, which, if you know me, you know that that's what I've been talking about for so long. But that work never ends. And I've also been saying this for so long. Like, there's no end to how deeply we can feel and feel and feel. Actually, I think there's even a sentence in there. Now I remember he says, the work is not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling. And I was really happy to have like this huge amount of time and space and this guided process to give me a chance to get better at feeling, because definitely those blind spots inside of me, those are the things that I'm not able to feel unconditionally. Like when I feel them, I'm not able to hold them. This is the way I'm going to describe it. Like hold them with like a loving space, like a space holder, like you would do for a great friend, someone you love dearly, or you might experience it like in a therapy session, like someone holding this unconditional, non-judgmental, neutral space. I needed to learn how to hold that space for some feelings that were underneath and so uncomfortable that I was like in an unconscious reaction mode to them, despite how much like work I've done. So let me read a couple things. Jennifer, I love experiencer. I know, I just made it up on the fly. I think the magic lies in the simplicity of it. Yes, you don't have to do anything but sit still for 15 minutes straight. We all have struggles turning off our minds. But the book helps. It makes the silence and stillness more comfortable. Good insight. What blocks us from being present? Yes. So to speak to what Jennifer's saying, the process includes like 2 15-minute sort of breathing sessions a day. So that's something you need to commit to. So again, if you've known me for a long time, you may know that I absolutely love consistency. I can be extremely disciplined. I think Jennifer, my astrology friend, probably would say, like, I have Saturn in some house. And so, like, consistency works really well for me. Others who it doesn't, they may have a hard time with this process because it asks for consistency. And then it's just sort of a daily reading and giving you some new, he doesn't call it affirmation, he calls it a conscious response, like a way to become more consciously respond, like to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your feelings. Anyway, as I did it 3 times, I felt like all of this was like integrating deeper, deeper. That's why my book is so marked up. By the time I got to the 3rd round, if it wasn't underlined, it got underlined. If it was underlined, it got bracketed. If it was bracketed, it got starred. And even just before starting this, I was reading through, just like flipping through and reading some underlined parts, just to kind of prepare myself for this talk. And I was like, I just find myself with every word being like, yes, yes. And I'm like nodding, yes, yes. It's like drinking some delicious vitamin packed, mineral packed, like drink that nourishes my whole being. That's really how I felt about every single word. Like it landed so perfectly for me, for with everything I've done up till now and everything that I feel that I am missing. So yeah, a lot about reactions. And so I'm not going to bring the presence process itself into my future work, but as I continue with the Art of Self-Acceptance course and the parts work I lead, there are some like nuggets here that are invaluable to bring to us, such as working on the reaction piece, the containment piece, which is like being able to feel and hold a feeling and not react to it in any way whatsoever. Not try to fix it, not, try to like complain about it, not like blame it and hate it, not try to reject it and resist it and push it away. And it's very natural that we do all those things. Like he's talking a lot about like how we got here. This is generations imprinting patterns, but we're the ones in charge of, again, to use his words, he says, the quality of our experience. So he doesn't say we're in charge of our experience. He says we're in charge of the quality of our experience. So if I'm experiencing pain, I'm in charge of the quality of that experience. How? By the way I respond to it rather than reacting to it. Someone says or does something to me. I'm responsible. I'm in charge of the quality of that experience by how I respond to it. And again, if you are interested in any of the videos I've ever done or anything I've ever taught, like we're talking about that. So it's like an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to look in more deeply, like where are the places where I'm struggling and fighting with the quality of my experience. Those are precious gems, actually. Those are not bad things. Those are like precious opportunities to see something that I couldn't see. And so, as I said, like it gave me sort of a groundwork for just like interpreting life and my experience, my feelings, my pain, my discomfort, my struggles, the things that hurt me from within me and outside of me, and still from the past, lingering, carrying on into my present. I have a framework to meet those things with a different response. And another big part of that is the word required. And I think I've brought that up on this channel before, but he is talking about once you decide, right? Once you decide. Anyway, I feel like this could be like a really hot topic. So I'm gonna try to say it as I'm gonna try to say it a little more gently and concise and close to the way he kind of said it, which is like once you decide you want to integrate the parts inside of you that are unintegrated, because that's the way to get to shifting the reaction. Not necessarily. The containment is the way to get to shifting the reaction, but integrating the unintegrated parts starts to change. It starts to clean. It's also not the best word. Integrate. So you become less fragmented, therefore less in conflict with yourself and the world and your body and your relationships and life and all the things that we're in conflict and in resistance to. And you become more integrated and whole and harmonized with it. And once you decide to go on that journey, then presence itself. So presence itself, right? This is like this omniscient consciousness that is at the essence of all of life, presence itself. So it's not just like, oh, I got to focus on this thing right now and be present. It's not like that. It's like, well, that was not what I was interested in. I am interested in the deep underlying presence itself. I want to live in alignment with that presence. But what he's saying is that presence will help you and support you on your integration journey. And I feel that's true for all of us on the emotional healing journey. Presence itself, it knows your life, it knows your intention, it knows your choice, it knows what's unintegrated, it knows. It's like we can call that the universe or whatever you want to call it. So it will bring to you many feelings, sensations, physical things, emotional things, people, circumstances to help you integrate what is unintegrated. Therefore, all of that is a requirement. Did I bring that back around full circle? Did you stay with me there? Did you follow me? I know I went many places there, but it's a requirement. So now if something uncomfortable is happening, or I have a thing and I'm like, why do I still have this thing? Right? Or why is this happening to my body? Why couldn't I heal this yet? Or like, why am I still getting up? Why is this person bothering me? This is required. Oh, it's a really big shift. Like, oh, this is a requirement. This is why is it happening? Because it's required. So I get to practice with it. So it's just about deepening your own practitioner journey. It's not like he says, like, don't do the presence process, don't do emotional integration with an end goal. Don't do it as a means to an end. Do it as a lifestyle. And so that so matches what I'm always sharing, what I already felt. And then I just needed like a container for myself to go deeper into the places that I couldn't see. And then I can tell you, like, I'm slowly seeing them. Have I seen them all? No. I'm on that journey now, and it still feels ongoing. And I feel so grateful. I feel so grateful. Some days I'll like write my gratitudes, and it's always like grateful for the presence process, because it shows up every day, all day. It's like became part of me as I repeated this over 3 rounds. And because I was so in it, I couldn't like fully share about it with you. And I still feel like I'm not doing it justice, but I'm walking a fine line here, because it's something that you can't experience through my words or through my like sharing. The presence process is a journey you take for yourself if it feels right or not. But it was so important for me. I wanted to talk about it, and I'm sure that it will continue to come up as I talk and as I teach, because now it's just became part of me. Okay, let me catch up here. Your Saturn is in the 12th house, deep psychological work. Yes, Jennifer, she's my astrology person. Your Saturn is in the 12th house, deep psychological work, which is your worthy work. Thus, I couldn't think of a better book or practice for the Saturn placement. Yes, I love deep psychological work or deep inner work. That is more and more clear as every day goes by, that this is the most interesting thing to me. Well, sometimes that makes world stuff like challenging, but I'm working on the balance, and now I have a framework. Everything, even world stuff that's challenging, is my requirement. So thank you, Jennifer, for reminding me. I'm with you. I had an incident last night where I got to practice, and although I did not react, I still felt uncomfortable inside. Thus, more healing work is needed, more integration. It is so a journey. It's a long journey, and it's a life journey. But I feel more content to know we can just relax and enjoy this journey. And I know I've said this before, but it was like, it's more than a reminder, right? I read this book. I read this book at least 3 or 4 times. Some parts I read 5 times. Like, it's more than a reminder. It was a deeper integration in and of itself of a practice that's been important to me. And I was really looking for that at this moment. So thank you, Jennifer, for jumping on and jumping in about these things. And if anybody has astrology stuff, please check out Jennifer Claire Astrology. She's great. She will let you know. And she has many great videos on her YouTube channel as well about astrology. I've learned so much from her. So thank you for letting me share something that has been really meaningful and heartfelt, and that I feel passionate about. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And if you're watching this as a replay, you're more than welcome to drop any questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer as best as I can. Most of it is probably better answered by Michael Brown himself, but I am happy to share my own interpretations and experiences. Patricia, I would feel like healing is a continuous process, and some days it's great and others it's not. I'm learning to just go with it. Yes, you said it well. I think everyone feels that way. Some days it's great and other days not so much. And those are the days where we get to really lean on our tools and our toolbox, right? And on the good days, he talks about fruits and flowers, the fruits and flowers of accessing presence and getting into deeper and greater present moment awareness. He talks about the end of the book is all the different fruits and flowers that arise in life through doing that work. And the days that we're just enjoying, the good days are the days that we're kind of harvesting and enjoying the fruits and flowers. But it's all beautiful. And yeah, it's a deep programming and imprinting that it's all meant to be good and happy. It just goes. And as you said, learning to flow with it, that is the wisest thing we can do. Yes, the bad day, those are the days when you know the work you're putting in is working. Correct, Patricia, that's true. That's true. And it's all required for our growth, our healing, our integration, our evolution as human beings. So we can just imagine like this life, everything it brings to me is required for that evolution. That's something to be grateful for, and that's beautiful in and of itself. So thank you again for listening. If you are watching the replay and you have not subscribed to the channel, feel free. If it resonates for you, if you have a certain topic that you would like me to talk about, you can also put that in the comments. And I will see you again next time. Thank you so much, everyone. And I should give a little shout out, actually, if you're still listening. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow, I will do a free introduction for my Art of Self-Acceptance class. I've never done that before, but I thought it would be a good chance to give people a little bit of a feel of what goes on in that class. So I will make sure to drop the link there. Yeah, maybe I can even drop the link right now in here before I wrap up. And otherwise, if you need to go, please do, and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing you again, wherever that may be on the journey. Okay, here's the link. Yeah, you can grab that if you're interested. Otherwise, good luck, be well, and see you next time. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.